Well, hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of Your Manchester. How are you, Flower?
I'm very well, and you?
This is lovely, isn't it, to be outside in the sunshine?
Your Manchester garden.
In the Your Manchester garden. It's lovely. We've potted some plants.
Do we have?
What plants would you recommend potting at the moment?
Oh, I would pot your begonias.
Would you?
Yeah.
Lovely. Anything you'd avoid potting at the moment?
Venus flytraps, I keep well away from them because they go like that.
Hiya! Have you had a good week? We've got a marvellous show lined up for this week. We really, really have.
Yeah.
What is on tonight's show, please?
Well, you've been down to the cobbles, haven't you? We've got the first part.
It's all going on.
Is it?
Oh. Just so you know, just to set it up for you, we've been in the screening room.
Oh,
watching.
A screening?
Well, it was.
Or was it?
No, actually, it was. That's very good, yeah. Watching scenes and stuff unfold.
Oh.
And very excited.
Oh, very good. So we start a bit of a series on that tonight.
Well, yeah, so I've been down the cobbles. You've been for another walk. Where have you been this
Yes, I've been Middleton at the Golden Triangle.
Oh, sounds fun.
Yeah.
Also on tonight's show, we got the privilege of speaking to Todrick Hall, everybody, who's appearing in burlesque at the Opera House at the moment.
Oh, yes, looking forward to that.
So we've been able to speak to him. So
yeah, and our Lizzie is talking about Armed Forces Day, which takes place this Saturday. I shall be out and about in Tameside for that, my official duties.
really?
Yes, I will.
Curtsying lot. Well, not you curtsying, people curtsying to you. This is how your show's looking. Well, first on today's programme, I was lucky enough to be invited down to Corrie. Now, I know you're a big fan of Corrie, aren't you? You like your Corrie?
Yes, I do. It's all been happening,
It has been going
left, right, and centre.
And centre, yes, and there is. There's something about a cult.
A what?
Cult.
A cult.
Cult.
Lovely.
Yes.
Thank goodness you said that right.
And a missing person.
What?
And
Lauren?
To Lauren Bolton.
Yes.
And to top
She's
it
in my house here.
Please don't start rumours like that. And to make things worse,
Yes.
Roy Cropper's grown a beard.
Who's that?
Roy Cropper.
Oh, is that Maureen Lipman?
Maureen Lipman has grown a beard.
Right.
Yes. You can see more by watching this.
Something's going down, everybody, and we are privileged to give you the inside information about what is going on here on the cobbles.
And I'm now joined, everybody, by DC. What are you at the moment?
Detective Sergeant.
Well, you are DS, everybody.
Nice to know you've done your research.
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I just call you Swain.
That's good.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah, very good. Oh, lovely. So, how do you feel that everything's going within the Weatherfield area at the moment?
It's a bit of a nightmare, really. Yeah, I just wonder.
What challenges have you faced?
Many challenges. Murders, rape.
Right.
Conspiracy. There's been a lot. Yeah, knife crime.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've been around Weatherfield for a while?
Yes,
Yeah.
3 years.
Yes, and you're enjoying your time within this area?
I am, very much so.
Has there been a highlight to your time here?
A highlight? Not really, no.
No. Well, tough. And what do you do when you're not working? What's your downtime look like?
I don't really have much downtime.
No.
Obviously, I'm a very busy professional.
Very busy professional, yes. Would you say that you face your job as a fair person?
What do you mean?
Well, would you say that every obstacle that comes your way you deal in a fair way? Or would you say that you kind of led sometimes are a bit, I hate to use the word, but maybe a little bit biased?
In what way?
Well, for instance, if somebody went missing, would you say that you'd jump on the outsider within the vicinity before you actually look into all the proper facts?
No, I would like to think that I garner all the facts and as much evidence as possible to come to the correct conclusion.
Okay, then. So what's your thoughts on Roy Cropper at the moment, then?
Well, he's now out and living his life after the period of time that he spent incarcerated.
Do you think he was right to be incarcerated?
At that time, yeah, because that's where the evidence pointed. You know, you've got the fingerprints on the condom wrapper, you've got his fingerprints on the property, which he denied because he said he'd worn rubber gloves. You've got the DNA that's there. The fact that he'd given her more money. So, and he was the last person to see Lauren. So the evidence was all there. And also, it's my job to collate all that evidence and then send it through to the CPS. So they were happy to proceed with that.
Right. And so now you've got a lot of evidence about this then. Do you think we'll ever get to the end of figuring out what's actually happened to Lauren Bolton?
You're very lovely.
Well,
You're very lovely, Ray.
thank you. I'm delightful. You're not so bad yourself.
Well,
No.
thanks.
So playing this character for you then, thank you for that, by the way. Playing
Very
this
much.
character, how you find it? I mean, it's just a joy for you, isn't it, surely?
Oh, she's a gift. She's an absolute gift, and you know, she's so on the nose. She doesn't suffer fools gladly,
Oh,
and also she gets to say the most fantastic, sarcastic one-liners that you would never get away with in real life. So, what is there not to love?
I think that's what everybody's, certainly from my community, are lapping up about your character at the moment. You can get away, well, I don't want to say get away with murder because that's not, but I mean, you can get away with anything.
So we're in Weatherfield. Who knows?
Come be round the corner. You have these one-liners, though. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Then you open your script each day or each week, you think, yes, tar.
Yeah, and I think that's, that's credit to the writers and the team here that I can obviously play with that and then develop her and everything that they had told me. And now we know about her backstory,
Yeah.
the tragic loss of her wife on duty. There's all of these things that have made her into the character that she is, the person that she is. And, her vulnerability, to see that side of her, that was a joy to
Because originally you were in it for such a small amount of time. Now we're getting to see who she is. It's unusual for a police character in this to have so much. I mean, I think the last time we saw a police woman have so much exposition as a character was Chloe's wife.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I'm saying that. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I take your word for it. It is, and it, like I say, it's a joy, and to be in the most iconic. So in the most iconic street, some might say, in the world is something that I really, really am so proud of, and also to portray this character, representation and inclusivity is massive, and I'm really passionate about that. So for me to portray Swain, it's an honour and a privilege, and I genuinely mean that. And it's not something that I take lightly at all.
And when they said to you that you're in it for the long haul, I mean,
Yeah.
what did you know about the character then? How much information were you given?
Not a great deal, but I played her obviously on and off for 2.5 years at that point,
Yeah.
and had a chat with Ian, and there was a couple of ideas that were pitched, and I was like, yeah, I think this is great. And then to tell the story about this woman, this police woman that's in this profession, that has had to fight for everything, and obviously against the prejudices and homophobia. I think it's a really interesting story that hasn't been told yet.
I think that's why she's become such a strong character, because she's had to kind of be on the defensive for so many years.
Definitely. And that was when I first read the scripts for the audition, to me, there were pieces of it that I was like, who is this woman? Her age, why is she still a detective sergeant? What happened to her, the things that have held her back.
Yeah.
So really delve deep into it, because I felt like I knew her. So, and here I am,
It's amazing. Where would you like to see her go? Obviously, I mean, I don't know whether you have much control over it or not. I don't know how it works. But I mean, if you had total control over it, where would you like to see her go? How would you like to see her gel and cement herself within Weatherfield and Coronation Street?
I'd like to see her happy,
Right.
and to smile a bit more, because she hasn't had a real great deal to smile about.
Much cares to her.
No, not really. And I think also to see her with her daughter, because their relationship is fractured, and that wounds to be healed, and for love, because what are we without love? So I think that it would be beautiful to see her progress.
Yeah, I think what would be absolutely lovely is you and Evelyn in the Rovers, where the snug used to be,
Yeah,
having a good bitch about life. I think would just be perfection.
I think it would. But I think with Swain, she doesn't trust that many people. So I think maybe that's her evolution. Maybe that's how things will happen. That a guard will drop, and she'll have a good old. Who knows? She might end up behind the bar at the Rovers. Who knows? As we know, anything can happen in Weatherfield.
Well, yeah, I mean, Craig Tinker became a policeman. I mean, that's
Yeah. No, I think it'd be good for Swain to have the profession, and I'm really proud that she is in the police force, that she's a detective, and she's a a working mum. She's a single mum, and I like the fact that she has a role in the show, as in her profession in that. So I think it would be nice for her to stay there. And
I feel we're only on page 1 of her story.
Oh, there's loads to unpack. Yeah, there's loads to unpack yet with her.
So much more.
We're only just scratching the surface.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Well,
Yes.
how many places can you find in one garden, please? I mean, honest to goodness me. Listen,
Yes.
have you seen the musical Burlesque yet?
No, but I've got tickets.
Right. Now, it's supposed to be the talk of the town, literally, in Manchester at the moment. It is supposed to be doing fantastic. And I've heard so much about it that I wanted to speak to some of the cast.
Yes.
So, off I went again.
You're
Hey?
never at home, are you?
No
wonder your house is filthy.
I got to speak to Todrick Hall.
Oh, I love him.
So, I'm now joined here, everybody, by the fabulous Todrick Hall. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm now joined by Jess Foley. Now, your involvement in this is just fantastic because you brought back a film that I thought would kind of fade away into nothingness for so many years, but you brought it back. It's now a musical. How did you get involved in this?
Do you know, I kind of fell into it. I've been a theatre kid for as long as I can remember. I love theatre, but I've also been in the music industry and working on that sort of thing. And then I was speaking to the production company about writing for theatre in general because it was something I was really passionate about. And they told me they were doing burlesque, and I obviously a massive fan of the film. And they at that point they were missing a particular song, and it was the first song I wrote for the show called "Got It All From You," and it's Ali's sort of "I Want" song. It's the first song you properly hear her sing in the musical, and I was like, basically being a pushy 19-year-old, and was like, I'll give it a go. I don't really think they were expecting anything, and then just sent the song over, and they ended up really liking it, and then I ended up doing a lot more writing for it, and then they were like, because obviously I'd done the demo myself in my little like bedroom studio at home, just playing it and singing it, and done it on Logic and then sent it in, and then they were like, so she can sing, like, can she act? And then kind of stumbled into it and continued writing and continued developing the show, and then became Ali.
Okay, so tell us, what is the storyline of this show then for those people that haven't seen this before? Turn around now, you're embarrassing yourself. Go. What is it all about?
The story follows a young girl named Allie who's from a small town in Iowa who has bigger dreams of being something more, feels like there's something more out there, and she has a family member that she is looking for in this version, the stage version of the show. And so she moves in the musical to New York City, in the movie to LA, and ends up falling in love with this burlesque club and choosing her chosen family. And I think during Pride Month, when we talk about chosen families, like, there's no better time to talk about this story, because she basically creates a group of a family that's already there, kind of adopts her into their tribe.
Well, you say during Pride Month, and yes, it was obviously glaring that it was going to be accepted by our community, this musical. But what seems to have happened with Manchester at the moment is everybody from all different communities are embracing this musical.
Yes.
What do you think the secret is behind it?
I think that it has a cult following. I think it makes you feel sexy. I think it's empowering. It's a woman empowerment story. I think it checks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. And right now, when there's a world full of jukebox musicals, people want to see something that is going to make them have a great time and that is recognizable to them. And this show does that, but it also combines a lot of original music by myself and Jess Foley with the songs that they already know. And I feel like a lot of the hen parties have been coming. A lot of queer people have been coming. A lot of people who just love musical theater and want to be on the forefront of what's new, what could be potentially coming to the West End or Broadway. And I have to say, I've seen a lot of shows. It's my favorite thing to do, to go to the theater, and it feels like a Beyonce concert in here.
I mean, because I think back to the film, because I've not actually seen the show until later on. So I think back to the massive sort of character that was in there from Christine Aguilera. What's the face? Yeah. Her. And you're obviously going to be using a powerful voice like hers, are you?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm doing my own take. No one can do Christina quite like Christina, so it's.
I don't know. You've not been down Canal Street. You want to see someone?
Well, that
they've got it nailed.
So, Parodies, you're very well known for taking a musical, making it your own, and doing your own special thing with it. In a few months' time, I'm sure once this has started circulating the entire length and breadth of our lovely country here, there's going to be parodies galore and drag queens galore. Not myself, because I can't dance. Honestly, when I dance, I look epileptic. But listen, it's a different thing altogether. But when people fully come to do parodies of this, what would you say the secret ingredient for making a good parody of Burlesque the musical is?
I think that burlesque is tongue-in-cheek, so I think sometimes people think that it's just comedy, and to me that's not burlesque, or it's just sexual, and that's not burlesque to me. I think it's combining those two worlds, and I didn't know that much about the actual art form of burlesque before I started doing this, but one of my tasks was to write a song about the history of burlesque, how it started and how it evolved into what it is now, and so it's made me have a very, very deep appreciation for the art form, and I have so many friends like Jake Dupree and Violet Chachki who are really big parts of the burlesque community, and I'm very excited for them to see this show now, because I do think that we capture a lot of that, and I think as the show evolves and gets to the West End of Broadway, there will be even more like true burlesque in Burlesque the Musical.
So I just think I think it's so exciting to make. I think music changes people's lives, and it saves people, and it gets people through things, and even just the like getting ready and going to the club with your mates, it's like it's such a part of the human experience, and everybody has a soundtrack to their lives, like you listen to a song and you're like, oh, I remember that thing that happened when this song was playing, I just think it's such a beautiful thing, and I think there's so many different sides and styles to music. I just find the whole thing extremely interesting and extremely fascinating.
Well, the art form of burlesque is so much more than just stripping, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I think people get stuck on that, and that's it. So what is burlesque in its very essence then? How would you describe burlesque as in the art form, not necessarily the musical?
I think that it requires a lot of skill. I think the art of teasing is something that, in the world today is not, there's not a lot left to the imagination. But I think combining music and storytelling and dancing and teasing and creating these like couture costumes that have like these bodices and corsets that come apart and are a part of the choreography. The art form of taking the clothes off is a part of what burlesque is, but it's the feathers, it's the boas, it's the music, it's the martini glasses, it's all of that stuff that makes burlesque like such a niche lane of its own.
No, you've been out and about, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I've been to Middleton.
Middleton?
Yes, there's a beautiful thing. It's called the Golden Triangle. And it's these lovely buildings that date back to the 15th, 16th century.
Oh, well, I'm intrigued. Let's have a look.
Hello, and this week's walk brings me to Middleton. Yes, the Middle Town. And Middleton residents have included Steve Coogan and Sally Denver, who plays Sally in Coronation Street. And, people from Middleton are known as moonrakers. There's lots of towns where people are called moonrakers. It has something to do with people in the past supposedly having looked at the reflection in the moon and gone a bit doolally. Anyway, here we are in what is known as the Middleton Golden Cluster because of some of its historic buildings. The Old Boar's Head Inn is the most historic pub indeed. Originally a coaching inn, it served coaches travelling between York and Chester. Now it's said to date from 1632, but parts of it are even older than that. And of course it's made of wattle and daub. So this was a sort of wooden frame with horsehair mixture that was put between the wood frame. And you could smash your fist through it if you wanted to, which is where the phrase breaking and entering comes from. Opposite the pub is the Jubilee Park, which opened in 1889 for the Golden Jubilee of Queen Victoria and covers 11 acres, has a lovely bandstand, walks and so on, and is looked after and publicised by the Friends of Jubilee Park. And it needs some friends because it's a big place to look after. So next to the park is also Middleton Library, which is very much in use today and has lots of different artefacts around it. Well worth a visit, and I'm pleased to say is the home of all kinds of clubs. So there's plenty to do here. And then sat up on the hill above Jubilee Park is the lovely St Leonard's Church, which dates to 1412 and is Grade 1 listed. So this golden cluster is well worth a visit, and we'll be off to somewhere completely different in our next walk. I'll see you then. It's a very special weekend, you know, this weekend.
Is it?
Yes, because all over the country,
Yes.
armed forces, emergency services, they will be out on the streets in parades and events because Saturday is Armed Forces Day.
Really? Now you're going to be doing something special with that, are you?
Yes, I am part of the event which is taking place in Tameside,
Right.
but there are events in every borough,
Okay.
Manchester City Centre, all kinds of things. And our Izzy,
Yes.
yes, has been having a look, and she'll tell us all about it.
Armed Forces Day is an annual event to commemorate the service of men and women in the British Armed Forces. So of course this week, to build up to the big day on the 29th, there'll be many celebrations happening across the country, and Salford's flag-raising ceremony is one of them. Describe to me what Armed Forces Day / Armed Forces Week is all about.
It is really just a time for us to remember that the freedoms we have did not just appear suddenly. Men and women, very young men and very young women, gave up their lives for us to be able to enjoy the freedoms that we have here, and I would dare to say that we take for granted.
It's about that recognition for the work of our service personnel, whether serving now or serving in the past. It's about just highlighting and recognising their service to us as a country and the work that they do. We have lots of things we need to celebrate on an annual basis around our armed forces, but I think it's really, really important that we have something that simply focuses on this and focuses on the armed forces and their families. It means we can just stop and think for a second. We can reflect on everything that people do, but we can also reflect on everything they've done for us as well in the past.
And why are events like these so important in raising awareness for Armed Forces Day?
It is really just the opportunity for the Army, for the Royal Air Force, for the Navy, for the veterans, for the families of current servicemen and women to come together, to spend time in reflection of what it is their family members are going through possibly now. Possibly they are on a mission field as we speak. And to raise awareness of the bravery, the sacrifice, sometimes ultimate sacrifice of our armed forces. And as you know, today the two benches were dedicated to those who have served in the armed forces. And again, that is a place for all of us for reflection, not just during this week, but throughout the year, to go and possibly even, thank God for the freedom we have and for these people who have made sure that we have the democratic freedoms here and that, that they are protected.
Personally, I think we forget easily. We go on our daily lives, we forget that there have been wars fought to protect us historically. They happened in some people's minds long ago, before they can remember. People don't realise the impact of that and how it impacted the people who were actually serving in those wars. So I think it's useful occasionally just to remind people of exactly how far we've come and how thankful we need to be to people for getting us here. Things could have been very different without the service of our armed service personnel.
And what does it mean to the people that have been in the armed forces or are currently in the armed forces and their loved ones, their friends and family, to have events like these?
I imagine it fills people with pride. I imagine it gives people who may have lost relatives something to hang on to, something to remember them by, something to make sure that their legacy is continuing. So I think it probably provides quite a lot of comfort for families and the families of serving personnel and people who may have lost people as well.
I'm Ukrainian, so I took for granted the sacrifices of armed forces until Russia attacked Ukraine until the full-scale invasion of Russia into my home country, into the country of birth. I know one lad who did that. He lived in Germany, came to Ukraine, fought on the front line, was captured and died from his wounds. So that experience and the whole experience of Ukrainian war just opened up my mind and my heart to the reality of how much we owe our veterans, past and current. And well, this week is what we do, is celebrate, honor, support, and raise awareness of, of the sacrifice and bravery of these incredible people, and praise them and thank them and honor them.
Well, to show? Absolutely. It's been non-stop. It has, and we've been out and about as well.
Well, we have to in this weather.
Nature.
I wonder how long this weather will last for.
If only we had our own weatherman, we could tell.
Next week?
Yes.
Next week? What have we got next week? Where are you doing? Where are you doing it?
I'm not in the studio next week. I shall be out on a walk.
Well, where are you walking?
Oh, I can't say where I'm going to walk for security reasons.
Well,
I'll just turn up.
Well, for security reasons, I'll tell you, I'm delving into my favourite musical about my favourite product.
Yes.
Hairspray.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody. Oh, yep.
Well.
And that's coming your way. Well, you're in for a treat. Make sure you check out the podcast this week, and make sure you check out our website as well, yourmcr.com, everybody. Loads going on there at the moment.
There's loads going on, and we reach so many millions of people that if you want to advertise on Your Manchester, you want to sponsor us, any of the different activities that we do, if you go to our website, you'll find all the details. Drop us an email, we'll send you a pack.
And we're also blessed now to be able to announce that we now have a special link so you can purchase your tickets from around our great venues, simply by going onto our website, and you'll find a special link there that will get you something quite unique and glorious. But unfortunately for this week, we are out of time. Thanks for watching this week's episode of
Your Manchester.
Come on.